Okay, fine. When did you start performing as a jazz singer in Langa, and how did it happen?
Well, like I say, I was surrounded by musicians at home. There were musicians who were playing already, uh, playing jazz, and people like Bugs Gongo. Those were our maestros. He was a piano player. Victor Ndon was a bass player, and all of them. I started singing with them. Although there was a place called People's Space Theatre in town where I was working as a receptionist there. So it was they were doing elementary theatre, and I also jumped into that. Sundays there'd be jazz sessions, jazz afternoon spans, and I was working with another legend called Martin Barrow. Martin Barrow was on piano, Jan Hoog was on bass, Maurice Koronsky was on drums, and there's another Abrams who was playing a guitar. I used to sing with them. That is why I sticked on the name Sylvia, because that was when I performed with those people, and I had to use that Sylvia name. And then I worked with Victor and Tony Sextet. Every time I performed, it was early 70s. Performing, I never stopped performing. I was in and out performing, acting at the same time. When there is no performances like singing, I would do my acting, acting on television and movies.
And which films have you acted on, and how did you get into acting from jazz?
Like I say that from the Space Theatre, we were acting we're doing stage productions. So when there was a lady called Sybil Sands who was an agent that was based at the Space Theatre. So she was our agent. So if there's anything, we'll audition and go and do it. So I started there. There are so many films that I did. Others I can't remember now, but I did so many films. I did movies called, I now pronounce it black and white. I did movies called Winning, Born to Win. I did Shepherds and Butchers. I did Freedom Road. I did, besides all those things, I did so many of them. Those are the movies, the others were television productions.
So tell us a secret, which one did you enjoy mostly? Please look at
I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed acting. I enjoy singing. I have passion for both of those things. You know, those days, they were not paying that much. There was no payment as such, but we loved what we were doing. So we continued doing that because of our love for music, our love for acting. And we grew out of that. We learned a lot, we learned more. And we did it professionally, and we became artists. Although South Africa is not like other places where if you're a star, if you're a diva, if you're a singer or an actress, you don't get paid like we are paid in America, where we will be talking about being rich now. We're not rich. But fortunately for us, we learned that way that it's not about payment. It's about what you do. It's about the message that you're giving to the next person. It's about communicating to that person who's sitting there, who is hurt, coming to the gig, listening to you, singing to that person, talking to that person, healing that soul. That was the major, major thing, especially with me. I still do it even today.
Okay. From your singing, you started singing, and what else did you do in terms of uplifting the community, and can you tell us names of people that you have mentored in your singing career?
Well, in my career, I was singing. I had back vocalists. I had backing vocalists who were the kids from Langa, who were singers. Some of them, they were coming from the group that I'm talking about, which is Marimba group, that was rehearsing in my house. It was under my son, who was a founder of Heshu Beshu. Actually, they started with Amajingwe, and they went on and on and on. And those girls were singing here. So I took them with me and performed with them. One of them, who is Fancy, is singing on her own now. And even Lungiswa is doing her own thingy. But when we get together, we do get together and still sing together. And I took them all over the world. When I tour, going to perform in all these places, I used to go with them. And I have taught so many places, man. I remember when just before I went to other places, I won a scholarship to go to UCLA. I went there. I was observing what they're doing, merging with what we do in South Africa, and plow it back to the South African youth. So that's what I was doing. I was there for 6 months. When I came back, that was after Canada when I took these kids. When I came back, I was invited in Germany. And I went to Germany, I think 3 times. Each and every place that I go to, I will be called for the next time to come back and back and back. I went to Tokyo. I did Tokyo 3 times. I'm going with these girls. I went to South America, Bogota, as a cultural exchange program. I did that 3 times. The 4th time they called me, they awarded me with an award called Golden Quadrupair. I don't know what that means. And I got that on behalf of South Africa. And I came back. I was involved in the International Jazz Festival, which was the North Sea Jazz Festival then. We went to the North Sea Jazz Festival. When I came back, they wanted me back again to the North Sea Jazz Festival. And then the International Jazz Festival was in Cape Town every time. And there were so many festivals. There was a festival called Jazzathon. There was no festival, Jazzathon, that I never, ever performed in, myself and Jimmy Dludlu. And continued that all the time, doing that. And there were so many things that I was doing. There was a cabaret place in Long Street that I performed with a guy called Dudley, who wanted to perform with me, but he couldn't sing, he was miming. But we were doing that, it was fun. It was fun, beautiful cabaret. And I'm still teaching kids. I'm still motivating kids. I'm still showing them what life is all about. Because sometimes you find that these kids, they think that you'll wake up and become a diva. You wake up and become a legend. No, you've got to earn it. You don't even go to school for that. You've got to earn that. Now I'm teaching them that it doesn't go like that. These are the steps that you really have to go to.
Tell us more about your son and how you have influenced him into music. And firstly, tell us, how many children do you have? And when you had children, do you have to stop singing? And how did it get to a point whereby your son is in marimba, and how you influenced him in? I
have 3 kids, and I got them when I was very young. I think I was a bit crazy, like I said to you, that I was all over the place. I got them very, very young. As a result, they like my size now, and they grew up at the grandmother's places, because I was also young. I couldn't look after a child that time. And I still thank my lucky stars for that, because I'm sure they were not going to be like they are now if I started doing that, because I was really young. And my firstborn was Banzi, and the second one, a daughter called Christy, and the third one is Sylviee, who is, Manzi is the one who's playing marimbas, who did marimbas. He also taught all over the world with the marimba, also teaching marimbas even now, is still doing it even now. And the daughter is an academic, I must say, I should say. She is working. She did her degree in, what is this now? I can't remember now. She's working at the investment company. She loves music, but she's not a singer. She doesn't sing. She likes that other side of the world. And the baby is also a musician. He sings. He's in Joburg. He sings in Joburg. He does his own thing. And I'm very happy that they know what to do. They know what they want. They're following it up.
How did you get to influence them in music?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm sure when they listened to me and saw me singing, they wanted to do it.
Are you happy that they're in music?
Well, I'm happy that they're doing what they love the most. I don't have to push them to do this. I don't have to say, you go and be a doctor. They want what they wanted, and they really went far at school, but they loved music, and it's their choice at the end of the day. And if they're doing it well and they do the right thing, I'm very happy.
Okay. Music, where, the best people that you have ever performed with, and big names that you have ever performed with, and where about?
First of all, the big names are the legends of Cape Town. I've worked with legends for more than 15 years. Winston Mankungu Ngozi, Ezra and Duke Ngugana, Robbie Johnson, Hotep Galeta, hey, you name them, lots and lots of them. They're gone now. They no more. I always say when I talk about them, say that they dumped me. But those were we were like a family when we performed. And I really say thank you, Lord, for me meeting those people, working together with them. And Feya Faku, you name them. Those are the great people that I could first start with them. And another highlight was each and every Christmas that was held in Cape Town, Madiba used to organize a Christmas for his people that are working in the kitchen and everywhere. He used to organize that, and I used to perform at the Green Dolphin. I think I did it two times or 3 times, performing there. And when I'm on stage, I will call him, come and sing the click song with him. And it was fun. It was fun. And when they opened the gateway, Mandela Gateway, I was also performing for him. That is a highlight for me. And when I was in America, I met Kenny Burrell, who I used to listen from a vinyl, the LP, when I was still a kid. He's a guitar player. When I met him as a visiting professor at UCLA, it was so exciting. And when I did my presentation, I remember when I did my presentation, I had to sing a song called Love Johnny Langa. I sang it for them. They were standing, students were standing on top of the desks, getting excited, That was another highlight for me. And toured all over that America, met Max Roach, who was a drummer. All these people we know from this side because we used to listen to them. But when you see them, you get excited that you never thought you will meet these people. But I never performed with them. It's just sharing ideas, introducing to one another and all that. And the Nazi Jazz Festival, when we were doing a sound check, I had to do a sound check with the greats of America. Till Stutzman, who was playing there. And I said to them, okay, let's check the song, which I call the so-called American song, on a clear day. And I never knew that I will meet that guy and I will even perform with him. It was so exciting. That was another highlight. And one day I was singing, because I used to perform at the Green Dolphin. I used to perform at Mannenberg's Jazz Cafe in Cape Town. One day I was going to perform at the Green Dolphin. And they've been calling me that day, every day, are you coming? And I said, yes, I'm coming. They never did that. I didn't know why. And when I got there, I was sitting there at the back. I saw Natalie Cole coming in with the bodyguards, and I thought, I know this Sissy. It never struck my mind that it's Natalie Cole. And she was wearing sneakers and just a simple dress. And I thought, I know this face. Where do I know this face? And she greeted and passed. And I thought, I saw the waitresses, when they were standing there, they had trays and they broke cups and everything, because they were shocked to see Natalie Cole. So Natalie Cole, there's an upstairs there. So she went and sit upstairs with the chorus girls and the bodyguards. And I started performing. My first set, she asked the bodyguards to call me. So I went to sit with her, chatting, and she was excited, and she asked me if she can't record me while I'm singing. I said, fine. And I sang Nkilo, and while she was recording, and she was humming, and after the song, she said to me, Fanny, I'm humming this song as if I know it. And I said, maybe you know it, I don't know. So after that, we took some pictures, and she said to me, I've got a surprise for you. I said, what is a surprise? I said, a surprise is a surprise, we'll see. So I did the second set. The third set, they called me and they said, Natalie Cole wants you. And I went there, and she called her band from the hotel to come to the Green Dolphin. It is not done. They were not hired there. But she called the band, and she went on stage, and she stood there. She said I must sit in front, and I was sitting in front watching. I was like, ding dong, that I don't believe what this woman is doing for me. And she stood there and she wanted to know my closer name. And I gave her Ncediwe. My name is Ncediwe. And she said, you know what, Ncediwe? We started here. Now, this is the surprise that I was talking about. I'm doing this for you, my sister. And she started singing. People who were walking past the Green Dolphin came in. Everybody was standing on top of the chairs and the table. They were so excited. That was the most highlight I've ever seen. And I was so excited. And I don't know whether I still have those pictures with Natalie Cole. There's so many people that I met. Yeah, a few years ago, when Dr. Paulo Jordan was a Minister of Arts and Culture, I sat down with him and I said, you know, I would love to do something that will remind the ladies, old ladies, of their music, because they used to go out, but they can't go out anymore, so that we can treat them. And this, we're going to call it Sisters Healing Our Souls. And we're organized Bongile Kumalo, Standi Klasin, Sis Dorothy Masuka, and Abigail Kubeka, Tina Scow, and myself. Organized this, we performed at the City Hall, and then when we finished that one, the minister said, hey, that was great, we need to do it again, and we did it at Artscape. Those are greats that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the divas, I'm talking about the legends of this world. So I performed with them. I'm still performing with them when there's time to perform. I did so many things in Port Elizabeth with a group called Soul Jazzmen. When I was there for some years. That is my second home. And I did with Vuyelwa Precious, so many people that are musicians in PE. In Joburg, I worked with so many people that so many musicians, all of them, I worked with them.
Can you hum us the song that you sang for Natalie Cole?
Uyandiqhela ke ngoku. Well, I did Nkilo Nkilo, which is our South African classics. I had to do that because at least that's a song that she didn't know. So I did Ndevilizwi kwela tyholo ndakhangela ndasondela lalisitsho lesithi ilizwe livile tyilo tyilo imnandi lonjolo wayembethe ingubo ezimhlophe ekwambethe nengubo ezibomvu lalisitsho lesithi ilizwe livile tyilo tyilo imnandi lonjolo.
Rolling. Where do you think jazz is today in our communities?
Well, jazz is still on. There are jazz sessions that are done even in the township. There are jazz clubs in Cape Town that are still going on, that jazz musicians who are playing. It will never die because that's the best music that you can get. It's a foundation of whoever wants to sing kwaito or pop, whatever. If they start there, it's like a classical music. You have to have that kind of foundation. If you have that foundation, you'll never go wrong. And I feel that if we could push it to an extent that it must be taught in some primary, in all the primary schools, they start doing the music from an early age and grow up with that. One will choose what they want to choose, but at the end of the day, if it could be done that way, that will be the best.
How do you see jazz growing in the next 10 years?
It's going to grow as long as people are really pushing jazz. But I mean, there are students that are at these universities now who are really studying jazz. That is why I say I doubt very much if it will die. Other youngsters, they got it from the great-grandfather at home. The albums are still there. They're still listening to that. And it will never fail. It's just that the youngsters that are coming up now, they are crazy with the kind of music, because that kind of music that they're busy with, it pushes them to do what they want to do, which sometimes are negative things that they're doing. And you find that or sometimes they want to go and do a sleep over in somewhere and whatever, they want to play this kind of music. But most of the kids that are born under jazz parents or jazz whatever homes, they will die with jazz. They can play any kind of music, but jazz will be with them.
What other ways do you think that what other ways do you think we must use to make sure that jazz does not die in our communities, especially in this generation of kwaito and rap and...
Well, you can't kill that kwaito and rap. The only thing that needs to be done, that is also done in the townships, is these Sunday afternoon jazz bands and afternoon band jazz concerts and everything. Some of them who love jazz, they go and attend that. And if you could do it every time, I'm sure it will never die. the only thing that you cannot do is to really push them away from what they like the most, which is this kwaito and everything. But I doubt very much, Pam, if jazz can die. It will never die.
So, what do you think about role models? Our community role models moving away from where they're staying and going far away from us so that we can learn from them. Do you think that's a good thing, or what do you think about it?
Well, everyone is entitled to do what they like to do. And but even so, if they're running away, when you say running away or staying away from us, you're talking about people who are staying outside Langa or whatever. But they always frequent this Langa. They come in and out here. It's not easy for them to stay away from Langa because they were born here. And some of them, if we still have actually, because at the end of the day, we don't have we don't have musicians, just musicians. They all gone, man. And some of the musicians that are the youngsters that are here now, they trying the best out of it. I don't know whether they will win, but we are pushing, especially us. We are the ones who need to really make it happen, you know.
Mom Sylviee, have you ever had a dream of opening a jazz school or music school in Langa?
I had that dream 40, 50 years ago. And I always say, and even now, if I could have loads and loads of money, I would build a school of music in Langa. Because that's where you get people who were teaching music, informal teaching, doing all sorts of things. You get the musicians from here who, although all of them, they know more, but I'm sure they would, wherever they are now, they'll smile if they could see a school in Langa of music.
What are the ways of making sure, because legends like you, they are not documented enough. What do you think it should be done?
Well, people like South Africa.co.za, where you can, that is a site that you can always visit. Those people are the ones who are making it for us. They make it happen for us, so that whoever, especially the kids now are into internet and all those kind of things, where they can scroll and get the information about jazz, get their legends, see their legends, and listen to what they used to do in the olden days, even now, where those people are great people. And some of the schools, if we could visit schools, you know, as legends, and go and talk to kids there, and go and see what they know, what they want to know, and be asked questions as people with wisdom and all those kind of things, I'll appreciate that.
And what exactly is our society like or towards jazz these days?
Oh, when you know, I remember over the weekends, yeah, there are people who are sitting in the cars out there, and there's this corner where early Sunday mornings they play jazz. I'm talking about now, and I'm talking about youngsters who are playing jazz, not old people. I'm talking about youngsters, which I think it reminds them of whatever. They know it better than I do. And when they do that, everybody sits outside and listens to that. For me, I say there are still people who need jazz. There are still people who love jazz. We just need to make it happen, that's all. And go back to the old ideas that we used to have. Every Sunday there was jazz. Every Sunday afternoon, when Abosi Saba Ofayo from outside Sea Point and everywhere, they walk into Langa coming back home with their stilettos walking down the street here, going to attend jazz afternoon spend. And there's jazz playing there. That's where you see the Sylviee who's involved with maybe one of the instrument player or something. You'll find them carrying those cases so that you can see that this is my boyfriend. And they carry the cases, and it was fun. We were still young then, but we see all these things. We're curious and laughing at these things that, oh, that one is that, oh, that one goes with that so-and-so. You know, that kind of thing. It was fun. I think if those days can come back, maybe most of the things that are happening these days, crime and everything, can stop.
Is there anything that you would love to add that you think that we have left off?
The only thing that I can say is that please take care of your legends. They made this country. They've passed the message to all those people, even when before 1994, long time ago, they were singing those songs in order to heal all those people from the apartheid days. They were singing those songs in order to teach the next person how to be humble, because when we talk about jazz, we talk about being humble. Nobody that plays jazz that is rough or something, or, you know, all the jazz lovers, all the jazz players, they are very smart people.
What do you think about legends who would die and unlooked after in our communities, or die poor? How does that make you feel?
Well, that goes back to when I said that we never cared for money when we started performing, singing jazz or acting. There was no money, but it was passion. I think what killed them the most is that kind of thing, that they never worked for money that much, let alone that being exploited by other people now, by promoters and everything. But people are dying paupers. It's not easy, because those people who are dying paupers, most of them, they're from that era of apartheid, where they wanted to perform. And when they perform for the big guns, they perform behind the curtain, because these people don't want to see their faces. They want to hear the music. And that killed most of the people inside spiritually. When they come back from those concerts, they're being stopped at the gate there. That, where do you come from? No, I'm a musician. And what are you playing? I'm playing a saxophone. And they will ask, these people, the boys will ask them to take the instrument and play it for them, just to see if they really know how to do that. What is that? Those things stick on people's minds, and it killed them. And some of them, they went to drink alcohol, and they killed themselves because there was no money to be there. I think for me, I was even talking to somebody now recently that there is a legends group that they formed in Joburg, I think Department of Arts and Culture. Instead of these legend groups that say they're going to do festival, why don't the Department of Arts and Culture say there is a pensioner like SASSA? Now, besides that pension, besides that one pension fund, they give the artist legends a pension fund. You know, they give them money like other pensioners are getting something from SASSA. Now, Department of Arts and Culture, they just check all the legends and pay them every month. That money will help these musicians. They will save it and pay for their funerals and policies or whatever. If they can do that, I'm sure that would solve the problem. My name is Sylviee Mdunyelwa. I'm Mrs. Kobas. I was born in Langa. from a musical family, and that's it.
When did you start singing, and how did you start singing?
Well, like I say, I'm from the musical family. There was music all around me at home. My siblings were singers, and they used to rehearse at the back of our home. My mother and father were singers in church, and I listened to my family singing, and I joined in. I was a singer. As at the early age of 5 years, I used to listen to jazz records, listening to so-called American Ella Fitzgerald and Carmen McRae's, not knowing English because I was very young, but I used to sing those songs because my brother and sister used to rehearse at the back of our home. So we used to listen to them performing, not knowing that I will be a singer one day. I was just enjoying music, and the family that I come from was that kind of family that when we are going to pray, like all households at that time, at night, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it's praying time. So when we're praying, we're singing hymns, because I belong to an Anglican church. We used to sing with our hymn books, and those hymn books had notes, so you sing your part, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and you sing that. The harmony that comes out of that house was amazing. And you'll find that when you come out of the prayer, maybe opening the door outside, you'll find people standing on the fence. They were listening to this kind of music that's coming from this house. That's where I come from.
Tell us about your siblings and the family. How many people in your family? And
I had an elder sister who died when I was very young, and then there was a brother of mine who was a singer, and my sister, also a singer. My brother was singing for a group called Harmony Chicks, and he was also a soloist. My sister was singing for a group called Dolly Sisters then, and she was also a soloist. And we had an uncle who was living with us, who was also a singer, who was singing like Sammy Davis. And all of us were singing at home. And when they sing, I copy out everything that they're doing. And I was very, very inquisitive. I was very, very crazy kid who wanted to know everything. So that's where I come from. That's the kind of home that I come from. A very humble home. A home that was loved by everybody. It was in and out. You will think that you're related to these people, but they are just friends, because my mother was a very warm person. And we'll sit around, we'll listen from her stories and from her father's stories. We're laughing at the people who are coming, because some, they look like comedians, but we didn't know then because we're still young. When I sit back and think of it and rewind, I always laugh at myself, laughing at all those Buddhist cousins who were coming in, who were always joking. That was a very beautiful home. We were not rich, but spiritually we were.
at your school that you attended in Langa, where were they and what kind of schools were they? Did they have influence in your singing as well?
Yes, I was at St. Cyprian's school here in Langa, and there were also groups at school. We're singing in the groups, and the principal loved music. I still remember that when there's a session, a period of going for sewing. I never used to go for sewing. My principal, who was a conductor, was teaching music, would take me and say, no, you don't go there, you're going this side. You're going to the choir, you're going to set up for the tenors, for the altos, and I always did that. As a result, my voice became basic because I was also singing tenor, singing contralto, and singing soprano. And that's where I got the music from, because he loved music but he couldn't sing. My principal loved music but he couldn't sing, and he used to tape us when we do trios and we do quartets and everything, knowing fully well from home there is music. When I got to school, there was that kind of motivation of singing.